Okay. I think I've clicked all the buttons. I think I pressed all the things. I think we are live on YouTube. I think we are live on Twitch. And I think we are live on Kick. I am pretty sure. It's been a minute, gang. Like I said, I'm taking it slow for this week. But the week after this, we'll be kicking it off really hard, getting back to the grind, getting back to the old schedule of shows. I'm feeling better, still not 100%, but it's time to start making content again. It's time to start putting on a show again. It's time to start earning a keep, okay? So thank you for bearing with me these past couple weeks. I do really appreciate it. Um, so today we are going to be talking with 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙, who is my guest today. He reached out to me a week ago, maybe two, and he had some issues with a take I had made regarding a tweet by Brianna Wu. And in this tweet, Brianna Wu lays out why she is wanting, she feels that progressive leftists are ineffective, less effective, and she's turning towards more center-left Democrats to work with them. There's a series of quote tweets. We might get into that, we might not. But the concept becomes, right, who should Biden, who should the Democrats seek to work with electorally? Why? Does it matter how people behave? Should you let that shape your beliefs? There's a whole host of things to discuss, and 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 wanted to discuss it with me. Thank you for the sub, Kamikaze. 2 years, 24 months. Why are you? That's a long time to be watching me. Thank you for the sub. Really appreciate it. Hello, Nerdy Rodent. Sorry to completely ruin the stream, but the answer is they need to go further left. They're done. Maybe. We'll find out. No Cal Mike. Nice to see you. Testy Johnson. Always a pleasure. Cypher Report. Nice to see you as well. Let's get this started. I told Ellen here that I'd let him start it off. So Ellen, give us what you got. Why did you read it out for me? What did you want to talk about today exactly?
I want to talk more about your response to Brianna Wu
Okay.
thing. The Twitch, not Twitch, the Zeet, the tweet said, whatever could have turned her off from y'all's way of thinking. Was it the endless stream of acidic attacks? Maybe it was the constant mischaracterizations, so y'all could get the big dunks and high five your buds. Anyway, I guess we will truly never know. Do you think that that's like a do you think that that's a good reason for like a 40-year-old person to change policy positions?
It can be, depending on the context, but two things. I
Okay.
don't think that's why she changed her policy positions. One, I don't think she's changed much in her way of policy positions. And two, I think that there is, if you have a group of people who claim to want a thing, right, who claim to be like, hey, we just want to help people out, we just want to make the world better, but then their behavior suggests that they don't actually want any of these things, I think it's fair to say, hey, well, maybe what they're proposing doesn't actually do what it says on the tin. Maybe I should maybe I should reevaluate. I think that's perfectly fine. Do you disagree?
No, because, like, are you talking about voters or leaders?
Either one.
Okay, because voters, like, I think we can both agree, want mutually exclusive things all the time. Like, most people are not, like, politically savvy to even understand that the things they want are mutually exclusive. Could we agree on that?
Uh, in general, I guess, for the sake of the discussion, sure. No, I agree with
Okay.
you. Fine. I mean, it's a little more complex than that, but fair.
so you're gonna have you're gonna have like I understand coalition building like between different kind of voters because like there are general trends, but like if you go ask anybody, like go to somebody on the street, ask their political opinion, it's going to be a mishmash of completely contradictory positions because they don't like these people aren't educated and they don't they don't understand. It's like asking a fifth grader about calculus. Um, so when we have leaders that should actually understand these things and stuff like that, the being able to be like kind of like negatively polarized against positions you used to hold purely based on people just being like kind of assholes to you. And let's like acknowledge that Twitter is mostly young people, and young people are socially retarded. Like so there's going to be like a lot of weird backstabbing and stuff like that, but that's true of young people of any political disposition, not just leftists.
So I agree with you that it's not just leftists. You say a lot of things that are hard to unpack, and we can fight on almost every single point of this individually. One, I'm not convinced that the amount of people, the most people on Twitter are young. I guess it would depend on what you mean by young. If you mean under 60, yes, right? But if you mean like in their 20s, I don't know about that, right? At least the people I interact with, who I follow, tend to be either late 20s, 30s, 40s, even 50s, right? But I think that's beside the point.
I mean, haven't you kind of cultivated that audience? Like,
Maybe.
I would say that, yeah, most of the other audience, like, if you look at the other bigger streamer audiences and stuff like that, like BGG and stuff like that, I would say that it's mostly
fair enough, but I think it's almost beside the point, right? I think
Yeah.
that when it comes to negative polarization, which is a good term, right? I think that it's only natural that when you treat someone dishonestly and you constantly harangue, harass, misinterpret, and are pretty bad faith in general, that they're going to be more skeptical of the policy positions which you espouse. So, for example, if I'll put this in religious terms. If I'm a preacher and I am preaching forgiveness, I am preaching that you should be Christian, I am preaching you should follow God's word, and then in my private life and outside, when I'm not on the pulpit, I'm gambling, I'm whoring, I'm doing all the fun stuff, right? And I don't forgive anyone, I'm kind of an asshole. I think it would be reasonable for someone, a parishioner or someone who is watching me or observing me, to be like, is what he actually is saying true? He doesn't seem to believe it, right? He doesn't seem to follow practice what he's preaching. So maybe what he's preaching is just shit. And I think it works that way in politics too. When you find someone or a group of people who are advocating for a certain thing, let's use anti-racism for an example, okay? You have a group of people who are like, we want to be anti-racist. We want to make sure that there's no racism. But then you look and see how all their behavior is kind of racist. You might begin to suspect that, hey, maybe those policies that they say are anti-racist aren't actually anti-racist. Does this make sense?
Okay, how mean do I have to be to you to get you to stop supporting the 1965 Civil Rights Act?
Your personal meanness, your individual meanness, probably can't do it, right? I won't say never, right? I'm sure, like under torture or some kind of like kind of like brainwashing techniques, maybe you could do it, but like in general, no, you're just not.
Okay, what if like Black Lives Matter just came out and was like said that the like I don't know. Let's throw it the other way. Instead of being negatively polarized, I mean, Black Lives Matter comes out against the 1965 Civil Rights Act. And they start accusing you of being racist for disagreeing with Black people. Would that change your mind?
No.
What if it started affecting votes?
But what it would do, right? What it would do is make me want to work with them anymore.
But you would stop.
Which is to be clear, is what Brianna said, right?
Would you stop calling yourself an anti-racist though?
I might, if that's what the label entails, if that's the baggage that comes with it, I might. It depends, right? And this is
Aren't you
what
ceding
Brianna
ground at that point?
Say one more time.
Aren't you ceding ground at that point?
Ceding ground. What do you mean?
You're letting them take the term.
Sometimes the term gets taken whether you let them or not, right? Like there is a time where if a label, like for example, if I were to call myself a leftist and everything that leftists started to do was just terrible, horrible. It actually got in the way, as you said, it started affecting votes. It got in the way of me getting those specific policies that I wanted to pass, right? Then I would drop the label, drop it like it's hot. Like, for example, this is important, if I may. This is important because I think that the concept of labels is a very harmful one in discourse, right? I think that it's a shorthand, but it's been weaponized to be kind of like to sneak in things that aren't actually there. That's why I hesitate to ever call myself a thing, right? I eschew labels. I don't like them.
All due respect, like, okay, would you have advocated for Bernie Sanders to not call himself a democratic socialist back in the 80s?
Back in the 80s? I don't know.
I mean, this was during the Cold War when the USSR was still a thing. People called him commie, sympathizer, all these other things, but he held his ground.
Sure. I don't know enough the context of him or the positions at the time or how he did.
I mean, people like to say they don't like labels, and usually that's said by guys that are trying to cheat on a girl that they're not calling their girlfriend. But
yeah.
But I think labels are important and they're worth fighting for. I think like one of the Bernie Sanders, stepping his foot down and saying, I am a democratic socialist, to differentiate himself from obviously the USSR and the campus and stuff like that. But in order to push like the idea of egalitarianism, worker democracy, but while still delivering on like meat and potatoes issues that voters actually care about, that's why he was so popular, because he didn't cede ground and he kept his shit simple, and he fought for the label, and I think that's what we need to do.
But the label wasn't why he was popular. People liked him in spite of, not because of. As you said, he had meat and potato policies which he pushed.
You're so close. Sorry.
Are you okay?
No, that was big. That was me burping off some Big Red. So he used the meat and potato issues to push the label, and in pushing the label, now in America, socialism is being a socialist is less of a dirty word than it's ever been. Right?
Is it?
I mean, compared to the fucking 80s?
Maybe. Again, I was 8 in the 80s. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Sorry.
Maybe.
You look like a wizard. You look like a wizard, so I just imagine you've always been here.
Fair enough.
Okay. So, I figured you were immortal, like Gandalf. Anyway, the 2016 surgence of it's been the biggest resurgence of like leftist politics since like 2016, and that's all been because of Bernie Sanders. These things are 30, 40, 50-year projects, and I think that we need, in terms of, while we might get short-term gains here and there, I think there is a better, more authentic road that has long-lasting, long-term gains that I think we need to take care of. And ditching labels just because people are mean is completely antithetical to that goal.
It depends what your goal is, right? And I don't know if our goal should be to push things super far left, right? Just always. I don't know if that's the right goal to have.
I'm not even, look, I'm not, I don't know, like, people like assume I'm like, I don't know what people assume my politics are. When I'm saying like pushing like progressivism and stuff like that, like, how much of like conservatives do you think like in terms of marketing, they call themselves right wing because they think I'm right. I'm right about things, thus I'm right wing. How many people do you think like that?
Look, there's always some, right? Like there's always some dumbasses out there. But I want to talk more
The
about
term progressive is good because it's like, because arguing against progressivism is literally arguing against progress. Like that's why that term is worth fighting for.
Okay, progress isn't always good.
And
sometimes progress is bad. You can progress in bad directions. You can go further in really bad directions.
You can be right in bad ways, but like we're talking from like marketing perspectives here.
Marketing perspectives.
Yeah, like in terms of like what people think about when you say a label, a goal, and how this is what the entire culture war things are about, is about being able to fight to define what things are and aren't.
But the problem with that is because, and you're right, that a lot of people have tried to push and have succeeded to a certain extent that progressivism is good and right-wing conservatism is bad. But the problem with that is that people were like, well, I want to be good. And so they adopt that label, but they don't have the same policy goals that
Congrats,
other people.
You just describe the average American voter.
Okay, this isn't just voters, though. It's leaders, thought leaders. It's people who are influencers, people who are pushing narratives, people who are pushing legislation. They will adopt, they will say, hey, I'm a progressive, so this bill that I'm proposing, or this bill I want to get onto the into the legislation, right, and to be signed into law. I'm a progressive, so you must. If you're a progressive, you must sign this bill too, or you must support this bill too.
I'm a progressive.
It's a problem.
That's why I'm going to run a super PAC.
Or I'm a progressive, and that's why I think Israel should be destroyed, or something, which is a lot of people.
Or I'm a progressive, and that's why I think Palestine should be destroyed.
Take your pick of issues, right?
Okay,
but the problem is,
you can fight for the labels, but then I think the people. Okay, like if we're worried about like voters or whatever, as long as we get voters, but then we need to be able to sift through. Like this is a big problem in the GOP, is that they're starting to have a bunch of, like, there was a bunch of grifters at first, and then these grifters made true believers, and now those true believers are getting into office, right? Like I would consider like MTG like a true believer.
Are you talking about the MAGA stuff?
Yeah.
So basically, how it's working right now is the right has lost to a large extent. And I know the conservatives in my audience may disagree with me, but I think the right has lost its battle with extremism. Okay, the term Republican now means something a lot different than it did 20 years ago, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I think that's to its detriment. Right now, okay, a lot of people are deciding, hey, they're having to say, well, I'm not a Trump Republican, right? They're having to trying to differentiate themselves. So what Brianna saw and what she tweeted about, and which I agree with here, to be clear, is that there are a lot of people who, on the left, we're going through our own battle, our own civil war, if you will, to quote him.
Can I jump in real quick?
Let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish my point, man. Or we'll never get there. And I'm sorry I'm a little slow speaking, but it's,
It's fine. It's fine.
So the left is currently fighting its civil war with their extremists, okay? They're a minority, to be clear, but you can have a minority that takes control of your party and drives it, and it becomes a real problem. And I think that we saw that with the MAGAites, right? So Brianna has seen this play out, not just online, but in the donor field, right? In the messaging field and all these other fields. She's seen this fight play out, and she has said, hey, the people who are calling themselves progressive leftists, they're going crazy, and I don't want to be a part of that anymore. It doesn't align with my goals, and I think that's perfectly fine. That's not just because people are mean to her, But I think the behavior of these people does influence the decision. And I think that's good that it influences the decision. If your party is a party of assholes, then it's a problem and you need to fix it, or you need to differentiate yourself from them. You need to exile them. You need to make sure everyone knows that, hey, we're not with them. We don't work with them. They do not represent us. And I think that that's question. What Brianna did. Go ahead.
You acknowledge that like progressives and leftists are like different groups, right?
Depending on who you ask, yes.
I would say no. Like I would heavily disagree with that. If somebody calls themselves a progressive, I imagine like Katie Porter, or like someone that's far left in terms of electoralism, but not like a leftist. Like they're not like, they're not out here, like they're not like issuing electoralism and stuff like that. If somebody calls themselves a progressive, I imagine they're just a very like far left liberal or something like that. Like something like I would call you a progressive.
I again, I don't like labels. But okay. Fair enough. Here, let's read what Brianna actually tweeted. Hold on. So this is an original tweet that kind of sparked this all off. Okay, this is what she says, and we can talk about it. She says this. You want to have, and this was tweeted what? Looks like April 2nd, so about a week ago. She says, you want to have a real discussion about why I don't plan to run for office again? It has nothing to do with AIPAC or money. It's because I'm not convinced progressivism is a force for good in American politics anymore. Right now, you're in New York chanting "Bomb Tel Aviv" and siding with the actual theocratic terrorists. It's because you can't run a civil rights movement by telling anyone...
Those people are progressives. They're leftists. Those are either leftists or they're like you. I will say that there is this problem with leftists where they will see like a brown Arab anti-Semite and just assume that they're left-leaning. Like, what's that tweet that's like before October 7th? Women should cover up and never have abortions after October 7th. Solidarity with the Palestinian people. Like, there's definitely a problem of like right-wing Arab infiltration and leftist movements or whatever, but that is not really happening on progressive marches. Every single march that I've seen and talked to is just decrying the Israeli genocide, not so much saying that like, oh, we should bomb Tel Aviv or we should get rid of Israel. Of course, there are far leftist things, but those people would not want to be called progressives.
So, $10 from 𝕻𝖎. Let me read that, and then I'll finish the tweet, okay? Because there's a lot to the tweet that she made. Man, are you gonna look? Don't die on stream. I'll have to end the stream. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
$10 from 𝕻𝖎. Republican as a label 20 years ago meant for blowing up poor brown children in the Middle East for oil and the military-industrial complex. I don't know how getting rid of that is a bad thing. Look, we can have that discussion, 𝕻𝖎, right? Right now I'm fighting with the left. I'll fight with you later, okay? We will have that discussion. But I think that...
yeah, I'm a common sense progressive, okay?
Okay, look, this is what you say you are. It's actions versus words. But let's keep going. Let's keep going with the tweet. She says, it's because you can't run a civil rights movement by telling everyone who disagrees with you to shut up. It's because talking to Republicans is seen as a betrayal, something you have to do in a democracy. It's because you can't form a coalition to do anything because no one is interested in getting along with anyone. It's because the policies we are advocating are getting stupider and stupider, and no one can say so. It's because the movement is a panopticon police state where you cannot say anything out of step with the extreme or you get devoured by cannibals hoping for clout. You can't even say hideous flag design isn't good because your DMs will fill with angry people. That literally happened yesterday. My politics have not changed. My appraisal of who is able to get the public policy I believed in passed has.
Do you want to see an example of what it looks like when you try she says that she doesn't like people jumping down her throat because of like takes or little things. Why don't we show what Brianna Wu jumping down someone's throat looks like over something really small, because she has participated in her woke cancel culture versus me specifically before. Here, I just sent you a thing in Discord if you want to bring it up. It's on my Twitter. Okay, this is her threatening job connections because I made a very basic joke in Catboy Ranch where I said, if you don't look at this proposal, you hate gay people. Obviously a joke, but she took it as super serious, and you could just go down this thing, whatever. She's a crybully. And this is what made me start not trusting her, because if she's willing to weaponize...
because of how she treated you? So you changed your opinion because based on how she treated you? Interesting.
If
you changed your opinion on someone and how effective they are because of how they treated you. Wow, that's
If she was just being mean to me, I wouldn't have changed. One, none of my policies have changed. Two, the things that made me thing is that if she's willing to weaponize her like business connections or whatever against me over probably the tamest joke in all of existence.
Here, you can put the link to this. It's public stuff. So you can put the link in my chats if you'd like. So
I
people can look at it.
I put it in the YouTube chat too.
Fine. Well, YouTube it won't show up, unfortunately.
Okay, Twitch then.
Because links, I don't know how to change the setting. I'm sorry, but yeah, Twitch chat, and you can put it in my Discord too if you'd like, so people can see what we're talking about. But go on with your story. Yeah.
If she's willing to weaponize business connections over a very basic joke like that, I don't really trust her with power. I don't know what she's willing to do. And then she does not allow people to actually the reason people go behind her back, go and do dunks now is because she does not create an environment where she will defend any of her positions. She will not come on here and defend a position. I guarantee you right now, she's going to say blah blah blah. Real professionals do things behind closed doors, but then when we try to do it behind closed doors, she completely shuts down. She's not interested in actually combating ideas and coming to an understanding. It's her way or the highway.
I'm trying to think how much I want to make this about Brianna Wu personally and how much I want to keep this to a larger discussion. I'll say this about Brianna Wu, and I guess I'll let you decide. So, well, first of all, Artemis Fowl, thank you for the 1-month membership. Isn't Catboy Ranch the Keffel's bath hormone Discord? I don't know. To be very clear. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So I'll say this about Brianna Wu. I don't always agree with what she says. I don't always agree with what she does. Sometimes I think she does things that are frankly wrong. That said, she's never been shy about coming on my show to fight with people who disagree with her. She's never been shy about fighting with me publicly.
Yeah, so I wouldn't feel that uncomfortable fighting against someone I paid either.
She doesn't pay me anymore.
Okay, but she's paid you before.
Sure.
Okay, and so I mean, she can come prove it right now. I guarantee.
I don't even know if she's around.
If she's not busy,
if you wanted to fight with her, I could have probably set something up. But
I mean, we can set it up some other time.
Yes, you wanted to talk to me about the
because I feel like because we're treating 40-year-old politicos with baby gloves. Like we treat everybody like they're I don't know, Carla Walsh or something, some 20-year-old dipshit. When this person has been around long enough to become politically savvy, and they don't, and that's partly because of their behavior, because they do not allow people to be able to tell them why they're wrong.
Fair. I mean, no, you're not wrong conceptually. I think that is one of the things she actually points out in her tweet. Now, you could say she's a hypocrite. Fair enough. But one of the things she points out among the left that's a problem, and one of the things I agree with, is that we don't debate anymore these things. I take flack all the time because I have discussions I shouldn't have. people tell me I shouldn't have discussions on trans issues because, one, I'm not trans, and two, it's
Yeah, those
asking
people are
people to
stupid.
debate their existence or whatever. And this is a problem on the left that keeps happening. We're not allowed to question. We're not allowed to talk. We're not allowed to have people who are right wing on our show, because if we do, that they'll exile us. They will get us
Well,
taken out,
hey,
right?
I do not
I'm not
agree with
talking about you
you.
specifically. I'm talking
Okay,
about in general. There is a segment of the left who has this
okay.
problem, and this segment, again, according to Wu, and I happen to agree, has adopted the progressivist label and is using it and weaponizing it in order to become more mainstream, have more mainstream influence. And it's a problem. And it's getting in the way of getting shit done. $10 from 𝕵𝖎𝖙98. 10 pounds or euros? I don't fucking know. As a non-populist conservative, these forms of progressives still treat us like Satan, not the most strategic move to win over disaffected Republican voters. $5 Canadian dollars from Testicle Johnson. Just asking questions. Trans people are to the left what Jews are to the right. I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole. But basically what Wu is saying, and what I agree with here, is that the left, whether you want to call them progressives or not, the extreme left is a problem, and it's something that we have to either A, just remove from influence in democratic politics, or we need to just say these are not us at all, right? We just need to shove them off to the side and say they're something else. They're not us. And I think that that's wise for Brianna Wu, and I think it's perfectly valid that the way that they have treated her helped lead to that decision, because the way that people treat you, as you've demonstrated today by saying how you don't trust Brianna Wu anymore because of how she treated you, does and should influence how we deal with other people. Yes, absolutely.
Wait. What policy and label did I change because she called me dumb?
I don't know about label, but you won't work with her anymore. You said you don't trust her anymore.
I would work. I still told her I would work with her on stuff.
I haven't read, like, you put a lot of, like, there's a whole Discord thing, right?
Yeah, there's a whole thing going up to it. But the point is that conflating, one, it's getting away into her own goals, because one, she's you can court more right-wing people and stuff like that without alienating progressive. If she would have just said, I'm tired of like far left tankies or something like that, that would have not hurt anything at all. But there are a segment of progressives that are electoralists, which her influence can hurt towards. She's participating in a negative polarization that you are defending that she got.
Can you rephrase that?
All right. You are okay. She is currently negative. You said that she's being changed by negative polarization.
Yes,
right?
and that's fine sometimes. It's good sometimes.
Okay, but she's doing negative polarization against people that may be closer to her than she realizes by including the progressive label in there.
Fair enough. So what you're saying is that she is pushing people away that she could otherwise win over and influence because she's dropping the progressive label.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. That is true. But more and more, I am seeing that by not standing up, and I have this fight with people all the time. Like, just to remind everyone, I do get a check from Progressive Victory. They are not my sponsor or anything like that, but I do get a check. I do work with them. We got some great events coming up in June. We're going to go to Montana, gang. That's going to be fun. We were going to go to New Jersey, but the person we were canvassing for, their opponent dropped out of the race when they heard we were coming, so we don't need to do that anymore. So we're going to go to Montana instead. But anyway, that's an aside. As I said, I fight with people on this. I haven't actually gotten to my point.
Can I ask about the decision to do a PAC versus small dollar donations, like AOC does?
You can ask, but I don't know, right? That's above my pay grade.
Because the whole reason super PACs exist was so that dark money can be dropped in there without having to be told. So how do we know who's funding what?
I don't know. Again, but my _𝖫𝖏. I don't know
Does
how. I
does that
don't know
not worry
why
you?
they chose what they did. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know enough to tell you, like, whether
What,
or
Brianna
not
Wu
it's a
now?
good idea or a bad idea. I just don't know.
Okay.
But to my point, one of the problems we're seeing is that when we refuse to call out people like 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙, who said, I'm never voting for Biden. There's nothing you can do to make me vote for Biden because of X, Y, and Z,
Wait,
right? When she said that
she's doing
recently, I
that
can
from the
look at
right.
that.
She's doing that from the right.
The Young Turks, 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙?
Oh, absolutely. She is absolutely going right wing. She's been doing progressive leftists have been at the forefront of criticizing 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙. There's the idea that the Young Turks has been on a right wing trajectory for a while, and that's because their small dollar donations have dried up, and now they have to take corporate stuff now. And I don't think it's an accident that as soon as corporate donations started outpacing small dollar donations, they started going on a right wing bend.
So Artemis Fowl for $5. Speaking of small donations, right? No pack money here. We're getting all sorts of. Your name comes up, and I read your tweet. Artemis Fowl for $5 says almost all of AOC's donations come from outside of her district. I don't know why he thinks that was a good idea to bring up.
Wait,
I'm not here to argue about AOC's funding. We're arguing about left and right here. So you say 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙's, oh, she's right wing now. She's not right wing now because
I said she's trending right wing.
She's trending right wing. I don't think right wingers would agree. I just don't. I also think that, like, again,
she literally came out against Portugal's decriminalization, like drug decriminalization, that has been largely successful. She's been going against. She's been like fear mongering about homelessness. She's been fear mongering about all these other things, going into right wing thing. She's the birthing person shit. Like and stuff like that. She's arguing against points that she used to argue against. Like somebody in here, and I'm sure is a good video editor, could go back and do a supercut of 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙 debating herself.
You do realize, though, that, like, again, calling her right wing or saying she's trending right, I mean, compared to what she was, maybe, I can't speak to it, but the Young Turks is still largely seen as a left-leaning organization. Do you disagree?
They are pivoting center left, and they're going more right wing. They're not a. It's not an accident that they've churned out more right wing grifters than any other news organization. Probably, okay. Dave Rubin came from there. Fucking Jimmy Dore came from there. What's his name? Michael Tracy came from there. Like they are literally a right wing grift factory, and I think 𝕊𝖎 𝖘𝖍𝖙 is going to be the next one.
So, okay, we may have to really disagree on what right versus left is. The Justice 35 for $5. Everything your guest has said in the last 10 minutes is wrong. Tempted to DM you, but I want this lolcow to dig their grave deeper. Go ahead.
Justice, you can come on. I don't give a fuck. Like, all right, we can. No, like, what do you think that Dave Rubin's not right wing?
I don't know enough about Dave Rubin. Jimmy Dore, though, like Jimmy Dore's pretty fucking left. I mean, he's dirtbag left.
Jimmy Dore is not. Okay, this is like what's frustrating me so much. There is no. Okay, we just talked about negative polarization and stuff like that. Do you think that there might be an inclination where someone is based purely on who they're choosing to negatively polarize, even if they don't positively polarize towards the right?
Jimmy Dore is right. Is Jimmy Dore... Gang, am I wrong on this? Is Jimmy Dore right wing?
Yes, Jimmy Dore's right wing.
Hold on, let me see if I'm thinking of the same person. This comedian? No, I'm pretty sure that this guy was left wing at least one point, right?
Yeah, he was left at one point. But he is very much. He is a
No, he's one of those left-wing people who hates Democrats.
Right, but
yeah, but that's still left-wing. You could be left-wing and hate Democrats.
You can be left-wing and hate Democrats. I agree. He's not doing it, and he does it in the way where he is constantly sucking the dick of the right wing, though. It's obviously fake grift. Like, I don't know. Like, I have to.
Okay,
so do I have to, like?
We have a problem, and one of the problems is I don't think you realize that there is a segment of the left out there who is still left. They are left wing. They just have different values than what you would consider mainstream left wing. They're still left. They're not right.
This is not different values. He doesn't believe anything. He is doing, like, everybody knows about the why I left the left, and like that grift of trying to pretend to be a disaffected liberal, and then you appeal mostly to right-wing people. All right, Tim Pool did this. Like, do you think Tim Pool is still on the left?
He doesn't say he's on the. He says he's a centrist.
Tim Pool, for a long time, said he was a liberal, and I'm pretty sure he worked with TYT and Vice.
𝕬𝖎𝖏 for $5 says Jimmy Dore, the pot-smoking universal healthcare pro-union, and hates the military-industrial complex. This guy's right.
Your audience is literally idiotic.
Okay, what makes him right-wing?
Hold on. He understand 𝕬𝖏𝖏. Do you understand that by your definition, Dale Gribble is left-wing?
The fictional character, Dale Gribble?
The point is that Dore is not a fucking socialist. He has literally never talked about worker democracy. He's literally never talked about any kind of positive polarization towards actual leftist organizing whatsoever. He's just a useful idiot for the right, and he knows he is, and he's playing into it. And the fact that you, like Wick, that you don't understand that really, really frustrates me.
Okay. I'm sorry you're frustrated, but I guarantee you the frustration is mutual, because the fact that you think that, like, because he doesn't do positive work and just shits and dunks on the people he doesn't like means he's not a leftist or rightist. It's just not true, man. Like, just because he decides to just...
I didn't expect to have a conversation about Jimmy Dore, so I don't have, like, a full doc up in order to prove you wrong, but we can do this again when I do have that doc, because I think it's really important for you to know this as a Politico, to know who's sincere and who's not, and who's working for who.
We're not gonna argue whether he's sincere or not. Okay, that doesn't matter. He can be a grifter but still be left wing.
Wait, hold on. What?
Slick Diaz says, "Wick, you suck. Where's your finances at?" I don't know. If you give me money, I'll show you where my finances are. It's in the chat, I guess. But
no, I don't think you have to be a socialist to be on the left. I think you have to actually care about furthering the cause of, like, egalitarianism and, like, of
why would you have to care about it?
Why would you have to care about egalitarianism
why would you have to care about furthering the cause? Like, if you have policies that generally line up with left wing, then I think that you are left wing. Right? Now, there's lots of different flavors of left-wing. There's tankies, there's center-left libs, there's progressives, there's socialists, there's all these things.
Hold on. Do you think MAGA communists are left-wing?
No.
Okay. Do you think, like I would like have you to talk to, like, real Marxist-Leninists. Marxist-Leninists are not really that left-wing.
Some of them are.
When you talk to them, no, they're not. Like, they are basically just right-wing chauvinists with red paint.
$10 from 𝕬𝖏𝖏. Imagine thinking you have the monopoly on the label of left-wing. You're doing the exact opposite issue you complain about by excising lefties who aren't radical socialists.
Look, what do you think? I'm excising Barack Obama? I think Barack Obama is left-wing, okay? Like, I think Joe Biden's left wing. I think that there's just a big difference between that and then the guy who's literally being like, yeah, let Trump get elected. Let Trump get elected. What is the...
There are far leftists who want Trump to get elected so that the system can burn down. They can reinvert... Can I finish?
Sorry.
Can I finish? So
Yes.
this is important, and my audience needs to know this. That's why I'm interrupting you to say it, because there is a segment of the left who does not want Biden to win. They want Trump to win. Why do they want Trump to win? They want Trump to win so they can say, look, you didn't give in to our demands. You didn't give us what you want. You didn't listen to us. So look what happened. Now you have to listen to us. Now you should listen to us. Now you should let us have the reins of power. I think these people are dangerous. These people don't really care about others, but they are absolutely left-wing still. $5 from the Justice35 DM set. Also, your guess is 100% wrong. Dora is left-wing, but he's anti-establishment left, whereas the Young Turks is establishment left. TYT isn't right-wing.
TYT is, they call themselves not establishment left. They call themselves anti-establishment. So Justice35 is just wrong there. Can I get that $5 because he was wrong?
No, you can't get any money from me.
Okay. Sorry.
I hope people are watching though. If you are watching
I have to
this
kiss Brianna Wu's ass to get money. Okay.
If you are watching on Ellen DeGenerate's end, you can give him money if you wish, and I think you should. But $5 from 𝕬𝖎 to say Obama is left wing, the man who bailed out Wall Street, expanded wars to 7 nations,
he's a liberal.
turned Libya into a failed state, imprisoned whistleblowers. How?
He's a liberal.
Yeah, Obama's left wing. Again, he's more of the war hawk left, but he's still left.
Yeah. Also, geopolitics and like domestic policy are different because there are certain material realities that force geopolitics regardless of ideology, whereas domestic policy can be more guided by actual values and ideology. I think that we can agree with that, right?
Fair enough. $10 from Origin of Logos. Why are you letting this schizo jump all over the place? They're making no cogent points, yet says they don't want to discuss stuff they bring up. Absolute loon. Thank you for the $10. I want to get back to the conversation at hand,
Let's get back to that.
Please, which is, was Wu right, or should the Democrats in general be excising the extremist left? I think so. I think that to fail to do so, right? Because you mentioned
the extremist left are excising themselves.
You mentioned, okay, that Brianna Wu has negatively polarized people against her because she dropped the label, right? She dropped progressive. She's come out against leftists. She's come out against these types of
Progressive and leftist
people,
are not
right?
the same thing.
Let's not get into the pedantics. Let me finish my point.
Okay.
So, again, I would say my contention is that by failing to call out these people, whatever you want to call them, okay, which we failed to do for a long, we failed to push back on the extremism in the left for a long time, okay, for the last 10 years. We've really dropped the ball on it for a variety of reasons. We can get into that or not. I don't know if you want to, but we failed to do so. And it's been to our detriment. It's turned people off that would otherwise be with us. It's lost us independents. It's lost us centrists. It's losing us the moderates. And I think we need the moderates in order to win, right? In order to get any policy passed, we need to have a majority of people in the United States. And I think that by failing to just do what Brianna Wu had done, like Brianna Wu back in 2015, 2014, 2016 was a problem, okay? She was one of the people we needed to drop. She has changed, and it's for the better. She has stopped with all that nonsense and come back to sanity.
By hanging out in GCs with like Nazi trans girls?
Nazi trans girls? First of all, $5 for Justice Certified.
It doesn't exist. And we currently have Candace Owens saying that Jewish people are drinking like Jewish blood. It's 2024. People of any color and sexual gender can be a Nazi now. Okay.
$5 from Justice 35. Not wrong at all, homie. TYT advocates for operating within the systems as they are. Dora wants to burn it all down through populism. And $5 from 𝕬𝖎. Wu is wrong. Please keep the extremists in the party and the coalition. It is very popular with the lower and middle classes. Definitely. Thank you both for the $5. Okay. Ellen, I gotta say, right? The idea Nazi trans girls. I mean, sure, I'm sure some exist, but like, I don't know who hangs out with in her fair time, right? Like,
and her GCs that constantly get fucking leaked. I'm smart enough to never be in GCs because like I just don't care and I don't want my notifications
but
constantly.
what does who she hangs out with have to do with
because
the
she constantly
price of tea in China?
I don't want to be associated with these progressive leftists anyway. Hitler Cunny 420 1488 is hanging out in my GC and stuff like that. It's fucking stupid. Like, I don't think she actually cares. I think she's insincerely doing this because she's negatively polarized against certain people on Twitter. Okay, you can't use Twitter as a basis for how people actually are. If I did, I would hate disability advocates because I find them on Twitter very annoying. But I know in real life they're not.
So if I told you, right, that she has come on this show, and this isn't like secret knowledge, she said it while I was live streaming, because I told her the same thing, that you shouldn't base all your opinions off Twitter. But what she told me, right, was it's not just out of how people have treated her on Twitter. It's how people have treated her actually boots on the ground in the spheres which she dwells professionally. That there is a problem amongst left-leaning, progressive, whatever you want to call them, that class. It is a problem that they are fighting amongst themselves. Like, there is a huge anti-Semitism problem. There is a huge...
in North America?
Yes, in the United States, in our electoral problem.
Among progressives.
According to her, yes. And I agree. Because I've seen it.
Wait, what have you seen? What have you seen? Like, you see people like on like college campuses wearing coffee.
Well, I don't go to college campuses, right? First of all,
I mean, I wouldn't either.
But no, in talking to people who I know in real life, okay, their views on after October 7th, like they went mask off in a real way. And it's become a problem. Now, again, not all of them. And I think that there are plenty of pro-Palestinian advocates who aren't this way. And I wish they would take a bigger part of the microphone.
I would say like 99% of people that are advocating for Palestine in North America and stuff like that are just against Israeli war crimes. I'm sure there's maybe 1% of them that are just stupid and are saying...
I used to think that too, but that's not the case, man. It's the numbers are way skewed, right?
Where?
Like,
who? Give me examples.
I'll bring them up, but they're all going to be online examples unless you want real life anecdote Andy here.
I mean, whatever. We can talk about whoever. I just want to understand because I have a feeling you're going to bring up people who...
Let's bring up $5 from 𝕬𝖎. Why does he hate Nazi trans girls? Nazis were socialists too. 𝕬𝖎, thank you for the $5. Okay, that's a different discussion. I'll fight with you later, Artemis. Ellen. So... Well, so Artemis distracted me. Artemis, fuck you. Like, for $5, you just through my train of thought. Now I want to fight you. Please. Okay. I'll give you a good example.
I found a left-wing anti-Semite in your chat. Sansel, hi. What's up, Holocaust denier? How you doing?
Okay. Sansel, welcome to the stream. Let's use a good example. President Sunday. Okay? So, because I remember fighting with him about this on Twitter.
The former Sargon of Akkad fan, right?
I don't know his past as well as a lot of people do. I don't care. But let's talk about what happened. So October 7th happened. Day, maybe 2 later, Aristocracy, are you familiar? Was saying that she didn't feel safe, right? That there was some protests in Toronto, and it didn't make her feel safe. She felt like she was being targeted, etc., because of her Jewish heritage. President Sunday's response to that, while maybe not strictly anti-Semitic, was very willing to put up with anti-Semitism in order to get his points across, right? Let's say that. Basically, and again, I'm paraphrasing. He's like, you need to calm down. There's no real threat. You shouldn't be scared. It's unreasonable for you to be scared.
Let's bring up.
This was months ago though.
Okay.
And $2 from 𝕻𝖎𝖎 to say baby settlers is a great example. That's another thing that had banned many people on the left. You had, what was his name? Second Thought, I think it was Second Thought. And then Hassan Piker. Plenty, right? There's a man I was supposed to be debating today who flaked out again. Again, he's on the left, and he claims that you cannot be pro-Palestinian unless you're willing to support Hamas, and that's crazy.
Wait,
Brittany
who
Simon, thank you for the raid. Welcome to the stream.
Wait,
We're
who is
arguing
this
right
again?
now.
Okay.
It's the Yankee tanky guy. What's his name? But he's left wing.
Wait, no, he isn't. The Yankee tanky is fucking left wing. Are you serious right now?
Why is he right wing?
He literally he doesn't even call himself a communist anymore. He's a MAGA communist. He's a MAGA. He's been a MAGA communist.
People keep saying tankies are not left. Tankies are left. Why do you guys think tankies aren't left?
Because they simp for state capitalism.
Okay, you could be on the left and simp for capitalism.
Not state capitalism. It's the entire. It becomes like basically like almost like an amalgamation between like all the worst parts of fascism and the worst parts of like liberalism. Basically they replace the relationship between bourgeoisie and proletariat, between party member and like non-party member. The hierarchy of power still exists.
And you can have it's called authoritarian left, but it's still the left, right? You understand that the compass is more than just a right versus left. There are brands of left. There are brands of right. Not every right winger is a Nazi. Not every left winger is a communist. And $5 from the Justice 35 to say Artemis is half right. Fascism is just honest socialism. Both require a single part. Let me read my $5 threat. The Justice, I'm going to start over because you interrupted me. The Justice 35 for $5 says Artemis is half right. Fascism is just honest socialism. Both require a single party rule and require totalitarian control of society. Again, we'll fight about that later.
Do you think Jackson Hinkle is left wing?
I think Jackson Hingle's whatever's going to make him the most money. Okay.
Oh, okay. So we acknowledge
$5 from 𝕾𝖍𝖎𝖙 to say state capitalism is an oxymoron. The public sector state cannot have private control of the means of production. Thank you for $5.
Well,
my whole thing here, and then you can respond, is the tanky Marxist-Leninists, right? People who support China, Russia, all that, is a brand of leftism. It's not one you would want in your party, and I agree with that. I don't want them on the left either, but they are on the left. We have to just acknowledge it. They are left-wing.
They're not socially left-wing, and they're not economically left-wing.
They are economically left-wing.
They're
economically authoritarian.
Do you think communism is when the government owns stuff?
Are we having a communism debate? I think communism is when
because like if that's where you're operating on, I need to know like
communism is when the state owns the means of production.
No. Communism is a stateless, moneyless, classless society. Socialism, like if you want to talk about the transitory socialist state, they would have that doesn't even require for the state to overtake business. There are libertarian socialist things like anarcho-syndicalism and stuff like that, where it's basically just trade unions having everything. But if you basically just have the state control all of it, like Marx heavily argues against this. Because for the workers to just take controls of the state organs, it's just going to replicate the same power dynamics between bourgeois and proletariat, except that they're just going to call it different names.
So $5 from Testicle Johnson to say, show me in the Constitution where it says a dog can't play baseball. I rest my case. Thank you. As everyone understands it, when you say communist, people think of Russia, the USSR specifically.
Yes, and that's bad.
But that is communism. That is communism.
Like, no. It was never communism. It was nominally communism, but it was definitely not. It was state capitalist by literally every fucking definition.
Not every definition, your proprietary definition that you want to use because you don't want the bad label to be with communism. You got to acknowledge it was communism. You could say it was a different kind of communism than you would like, but it's communism. It's when the state owns the means of production. It's an economic system.
No, it's not when the state, it's when the people own it. The state and the people are not the same thing.
We will have this debate later, but you're wrong.
I'm not wrong.
You are. You absolutely are. Now, you've decided under your proprietary definition, which...
Hold on, I'm looking at the Oxford Language Dictionary definition of socialism. A political and economic theory of social organization which advocates that the means of production, distribution, exchange should be owned or regulated by the community as a whole. Nowhere in there does that say state.
Good thing we don't go by the whatever kind of dictionary on socialism. We're not talking about socialism. We're talking about communism.
Oxford Language Dictionary.
Okay, look up the definition for communism, please.
Okay.
Because that's socialism you just read.
Okay. Communism, same place. A political theory derived from Karl Marx, advocating class war and leading to a society in which all property is publicly owned and each person works and is paid according to their abilities and needs.
Yes, when the state, which is a public entity, owns the means of production.
No, publicly can mean just by the people. There doesn't have to be a state. It
literally there doesn't have to, but there can be.
No, it doesn't have to be state.
Oh my God. But when the state does, it's still communism.
No. Literally, okay, how can it be communism if there's still a state when communism says it needs to be a stateless, moneyless, classless society?
$2 from Testicle Johnson, bring Gibbs on, need the whoopings? Maybe. $5 from Parallax.
You want on, all right? I got
Parallax.
All the smoke.
Oh, let me read my things. $5 from Parallax. Right. You have socialism and communism flipped, Wick. Ellen is wrong about everything else. Don't let him clip chimp this. $5 from the Justice 35 to say yes, the USSR was communism. Funny how Venezuela, the USSR, China, North Korea turned out to be massive failures. They stopped being communist. Artemis for $5. Yes, a man has learned from Vosh word games and definition manipulation in order to avoid acknowledging the definition that everyone else uses. Okay. Gang, if we can get, look, I still, let me finish what I'm talking to him about. And then if he wants to stay, we can bring on Gibbs. Okay. If we get some gift subs in chat, if we can get some gift subs in Twitch chat, I'll do it, right? 5 gift subs in Twitch chat, and we'll get them on. But let me finish this first. It'll take about 10 minutes, right? We'll close up, okay? We'll wrap up. My whole point here, okay? What we are talking about, to remind everyone, because we keep going down these weird rabbit holes that you want to fight on, okay, is it okay? Thank you for the 5 gift subs from Majin. And thank you for the 1 gift sub from Gaming Bot. We're now on a hype train on Twitch. Gang, get me some Twitch subs. We need some more Twitch subs. Keep going those super chats too. Just give me all the money, right? It's been
put my name in the title. It'll bring more people
in. Will it?
Yeah.
Okay, I might. Fighting with Ellen. Hold on, give me a second while I do that. There we go. Put it in the Twitch. I'll update YouTube later. But here, the whole point of this discussion was to talk about whether or not Brianna Wu was right to drop this label, right? To stop working, or to publicly say, hey, I don't want to work with this type of progressive anymore. They think they're harmful to the cause. And was it right for her to let how others have treated her lead her to that decision? I think she's right on both counts. I think that she was right to say, we're not going to work with you because of X, Y, and Z. Because, again, as she said, and I agree with, these people want to excise people they hate. They will excise you if you don't toe the line 100%. And it's antithetical to coalition building. I agree with that. I also agree that the way people treat you and behave should have at least some bearing on whether or not you work with them, okay? It doesn't have to have all the bearing, and you can ignore certain things they do because you want to achieve a goal. That's fair. But at a certain point, if the people that you were trying to work with treat you poorly and act poorly, I think it's okay and wise to be like, okay, I don't want to work with you anymore. That's my point. Why am I wrong?
Okay, so how mean do I have to be to you? I'm going to pose this question again. How mean do I have to be to get you to stop supporting the 1965 Civil Rights Act?
You can't, but there is a level of meanness where I will stop working with you on it.
Wait, so like if I'm like, okay, I'm going to go vote for the Civil Rights Act 1965 Part 2, and you agree with everything, but you see that I'm going to go vote for it, so you'll stop voting for it?
So for example, if Black Lives Matter, let's use that as a more recent example, say, hey, Black Lives Matter as an organization, they want to do X, Y, and Z. I ostensibly agree with X, Y, and Z that they want to do. I think police reform is important. I think, Black lives do matter, right? I think all these things are true. But if the way they behave becomes an obstacle to getting those things done, I will drop them like it's hot. Absolutely, 100%. I will say, hey, this has become a albatross around my neck. I don't want anything to do with that anymore.
So
I think that's fine.
What is the albatross around Brianna's neck? Because okay, so let's like apply the standard that you're setting here. Okay, the majority of people want a ceasefire in
majority of people.
I mean, Democratic voters. Sorry.
What do you mean by ceasefire?
Democratic voters ceasefire. I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay, but saying they want a ceasefire isn't enough information to say what that means. Because when you say ceasefire, you mean there's a little different.
I got it right here.
Right?
Hold on. Let's see. Voters support the U.S. calling for permanent ceasefire in Gaza and conditioning military aid to Israel. Okay, that's according to this survey from Data for Progress. They asked if here. I'll just send you the link if you want to bring it up.
Okay. 𝕵𝖎𝖎 for $2. So if Trump is anti-racist, will he be racist? I don't know. But what I will say is, because this is the association game is an interesting one. I think that.
Let's see. Around 2/3 of voters, including majorities of Democrats, Independents, and Republicans, support the U.S. calling for a permanent ceasefire and de-escalation of violence in Gaza. This represents a 6-point increase in support for U.S. calling for permanent ceasefire since they last polled the question in November. So the majority of voters support a permanent ceasefire and conditioning aid to Israel. And how are we the albatross on Brianna Wu's neck when Brianna Wu is arguing for the opposite side, what the majority of Democratic voters want?
Because Brianna Wu doesn't not want a ceasefire. She just doesn't want the one-sided ceasefire that a lot of people are calling for. Because when people say, bomb Tel Aviv, they're not wanting an actual ceasefire. They're wanting Israel to stop, and they're wanting Hamas to just keep doing whatever the fuck they want, right? That's what they mean. So, again, it doesn't tell us enough to say people want a ceasefire, because the different types of ceasefire that are out there, even with conditioned aid, even with all that, the devil's in the details. There are certain ceasefires that would be great. There are certain ceasefires that would be terrible. There are certain ceasefires I would support. There are certain ceasefires I would not. Any ceasefire that doesn't get the hostages back is a no-go.
Okay, so wait, why are the hostages more important than 30K civilians?
Okay, first of all, 30K civilians haven't died. 30,000 people have died. We don't know how many of them are civilians and how many are Hamas militants, because Hamas doesn't differentiate between the two when they talk about their health ministry.
How many of the 30K were women and children? Let's see. I'm on AP News. Is that too left for you?
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's see.
And what do they
Women and
mean by children?
Are
we talking 16 and under, 13 and under, 18 and under? We know Hamas uses child soldiers, right?
Women and children are the main victims in the Israel-Hamas war, with some 16,000 killed and an estimated 2 mothers losing their lives every hour since Hamas's surprise attack on Israel. The United Nations agency promoting gender equality said Friday. This is a post from January 19th. So
sure.
It's so
look,
okay.
I'm not okay with children and women being killed.
So
innocent is a tragedy. It shouldn't happen. However, we've been put in a situation.
Jewish lives are more important than the Palestinian lives.
No. But neither are Palestinians more important than Jewish lives.
Okay, but they've killed way more.
Yes, because Hamas embeds themselves within civilian populations, making it impossible to get to them unless you are.
Okay, well, what number of civilians would you say? Okay, we probably shouldn't keep going for the hostages.
I don't have a specific number to tell you, but I can look at the ratio. So we look at Israel. They said they've killed 13,000 militants over there. That's their claim. That's their claim, okay?
Okay.
Hamas Health Ministry says 30,000 have died. So, again, well, I think 32,000 at this point.
Right.
Either way, we're looking at a ratio that's pretty average for the area. 13,000 to 19,000, okay? It's not good, but it's pretty average for urban warfare.
30,000 people made people more likely to support Hamas or more likely to be negatively polarized against Israel?
Can you repeat that?
Do you think killing 30,000 people negatively polarized the Palestinians towards Israel?
I think Palestinians don't like Israel, right, for a variety of reasons, some good or bad. I don't think that the current conflict has changed.
Are kind of legitimate?
I don't think. Yes, some of those reasons are legitimate, but I don't think the current conflict has changed a damn thing over there. What you think Palestinians before were rooting for Israel? That Palestinians were like, "Oh, Israel's a good guy." Back 10 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, maybe 40 years ago, that the Palestinians were ever like, "Oh, Israel is our friend." Do you think that's ever been the case?
I think they've been pissed off since the Nakba.
Yeah, right. So this current round of thing hasn't moved the needle.
Okay, but wait, hold on. It's moved the needle only in one direction.
Has it?
Only ever so slightly.
Has it?
I don't know.
You don't know, but you're claiming it does. Either way, make your point, and then we'll bring Gibbs on, because people are yelling at me to bring on Gibbs.
Okay.
It's your closing statement, buddy. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. Closing statement. Wick, stop being dumb. I think you can do better. I would like to come on again to show you how Jimmy Dore is actually right wing. Okay?
Okay, well, you're staying on because Gibbs wants to talk to you. Okay.
Okay, what's up?
You're live.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, let me turn off my camera and turn it on in here. How are you doing today, Wick? You doing all right?
I've been better. I've been worse, but here we are. I'm a little fired up now. Ellen, I will say this about Ellen. Ellen, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you being willing to talk about this, but you disappointed me, sir. I thought we were going to have an interesting conversation, but you've just...
You know what...
Yeah, go ahead.
You know what disappointed me, Wick, is a couple things in the last few minutes of me watching this. The first is this revisionist definition history that we've got going on, where people try to define words like communism and socialism a certain way so they can exclude their leftist comrades like Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, and Hitler, because they don't like that they did terrible things in the name of these things. And also, as for all those terrorists in Palestine that are dying because Israel's fighting a war to eradicate them, Hey, and by the way, maybe cover your mouth when you cough. That's good for your soul. Good.
I am covering.
Yeah, and so anyway, this is what I have for all those terrorists in Palestine that are dying because there's populist elected a terrorist government that's going to attack a government that's stronger than them. This is the world's strongest violin, and here it's going to play "My Heart Cries for You" as they get bombed the fucking infinity and beyond. That's what I have to say about that. Maybe if they didn't want to get bombed to Kingdom Come, they shouldn't have attacked on October 7th or whatever. That's real rough. That's real rough. So why don't we play this definition debate some more, and tell me more about how state capitalism isn't communism when it
Hold on.
absolutely 100% is. And if you say a tankie's not a leftist, you're a refried idiot. So go on, tell me more about that.
Hold on, bro. Why is your neck green? Is that necklace fake?
My neck is not green. Why aren't you
What?
on camera if you're going to talk about what I'm wearing? By the way,
Oh,
this is a lab coat. I'm a doctor, and I have
a doctor of what?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. I've got a doctorate in divinity and a doctorate in metaphysics, as well as my undergrad.
Sorry,
Hold on. But before
I
I'm
have a
done,
doctorate in fucking your mom.
well, that's good. I also have a bachelor's with a bachelor's in political science, a minor in history, 3 certificates in political
I have
theory.
a bachelor's
with the Bush
pad that your mom comes over to.
political theory. Well, that's good. I'm very glad that we're a productive conversation. That you moved to your mom jokes, which are like middle school level, after the.
I can do your dad jokes. Those are
these
collegiate.
definitions. So once again, can you explain to me more now that we've established that you're using definition debate to try to escape the facts? Can you tell me more about how communism is communism and socialism is socialism and how they're the most evil doctrines to ever exist in history? Your go.
Okay, communism is a stateless, classless, moneyless society. It's
Fake news. That's not true. That's not true. That's not true at all. 100% not true. Even by your own definition, that's not true. Why don't we pull up that Oxford Dictionary definition you said? Where on there does it say stateless, cashless society? Communism. Hold on. Communism is a form of government and a form of economic theory. Therefore, by definition, it is a state system.
I'm bringing up Frederick Engels. What will be this course of this revolution? Section 18 and principles of communism.
No. Why don't we start with your own definition that you gave?
We will have some semblance of order. We do have to go one at a time. I'm gonna give Ellen. Yeah, just cover your mouth or something. Like
I am covering.
Ellen. Give us your definition of communism.
Oh,
and then we'll start there. Go ahead.
Okay. My definition of communism. My definition of communism is where everyone gets to fuck Admiral Gibbs' mom.
That's good. That would be what we call sexual communism.
Yeah.
And guess what? Even in that society, the state is mandating that. So because as a Texan,
no, I wouldn't force anyone that doesn't want to fuck your mom.
Yeah, that's good. So, let's have a real conversation within your own definitions, instead of avoiding the topic now that I've given you a whooping. Why don't you give me an actual definition?
What whooping do you think you can give me, even with my bronchitis? All right, like I guarantee you, I could outpace you.
What is the definition that you gave earlier? Why don't you reread that definition you gave?
Okay, I'll give the Oxford definition. Yeah. Okay, of socialism or communism?
Either one, doesn't matter.
Wait, hold on. Do you think those are interchangeable?
Absolutely not. They're both the two most evil forms of government and social theory that ever exist, but they're different.
Wait, even more than like slave states?
Yeah, I would say they are more evil than slave states because they lead to everybody being a slave of the government.
So, Lauren, would you rather be a black person in the South?
Wait,
or
hold on. I don't think.
USSR?
Hold on. I don't think a slave state is a. I think that you can have a capitalist slave state, and I think you can have a communist slave state. That's
absolutely, Wick. You're absolutely correct.
Okay. Would you rather be a slave in the antebellum South or like in a gulag?
Why don't you just answer the goddamn question that I asked?
Okay. So what was your question?
This is called running. Why don't you reread the two definitions that I asked you to reread?
Hold on, do you want to do a foot race?
You know what? I will read the definitions that he read from the Oxford. A political theory derived from Karl Marx advocating class war leading to a society which all property is publicly owned and each person public. That is a political theory. Therefore, it is a state.
Okay, dude, hold on, Ellen. Push to talk. When you're not talking, don't push it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do socialism now since he wants to read the Oxford language.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you over my coughing.
A political and economic theory of social organization which advocates the means of production, distribution, exchange to be owned and regulated by the community as a whole. Guess what community is? That, once again, is a state. I mean, do you
wait, a community is a state?
Yeah, yes, a community would be a form of state. Yes.
Wait, hold on. I just learned that my local bowling league community is a fucking state. Holy shit. Am I paying taxes to my bowling league?
You are purposely being obtuse and
god.
trying to ignore the fact that you're
hold on, am I gonna go to jail if I throw too many gutter balls?
So you're not willing to actually have this conversation in good faith. You just wanted a podium to stand on,
I'm sorry.
and now that your beliefs are being
Wait. Aren't you the
challenged,
guy
you're
that
trying.
argued that like we should be gunning down like illegal immigrants at the border?
Yeah, I absolutely still stand by my statement that we need to secure the
Okay.
border.
Is that because you know that you'll never pass a PT test to ever have to see combat?
You do know that I was a D1 wrestler, and I did MMA
Yeah.
for 10 years. I mean,
And now
I would
now
not
you're a
pass a PT
D1
test
hot
just
dog
to,
eater.
yeah, that's good. That's really
Come on,
good.
Kobayashi.
Yeah, Kobayashi. Kobayashi's skinny and a world-class athlete, for the record. I'm glad that you can't
Okay.
even think good dunks. But back to the point. I'm going to hold you to this. So once again, your own definitions show that you're wrong. Why don't you go ahead and explain why you're not wrong?
Why I'm not
Try to
wrong about
engage it with
everybody
me.
wanting to fuck your mom?
Okay, I'm reeling this in. I love the back and forth. I love the mob jokes personally. But what I will say is the question at hand. The whole reason we're talking about this is because I made the statement that tankies are on the left.
They are absolutely
Right.
on the left.
Yes.
They're not.
Why are they not? Go ahead.
Oh, they replicate the power dynamics between bourgeois and proletariat by calling it something else.
What do they call it?
Party member and non-party member.
Why does that make them not on the left, though? I don't.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
you got to
hold
like
on.
substantiate this.
Hold on. Because there's still a class distinction. The whole point of socialism is to destroy the class distinction.
Again, you don't have to be a socialist to be on the left.
Once again, and not only that, tankies. Excuse me. Let me just copy him there with coughing in the mic. Express a love for authoritative, left-leaning, Marxist, Leninist, socialist republics under a one-party system. That is far left. That would be like
Right.
North Korea, China. That's socialism and communism.
Wait, you brought up the monarchist state, North Korea?
North Korea is a socialist.
Northern Korea is a monarchy.
By what metric are they a monarchy?
It has been ruled by one single family for 80 years. Or 70 years.
Is Cuba a monarchy?
No.
Oh, but they've been ruled by the Castros for what, 50, 60 years?
Hold on. Is Raul Castro still the president of Cuba?
No, they're not. He just turned it over.
Okay, all right. Thank you for proving my point.
No, I didn't prove your point at all. I'm glad that you're once again being sympathetic. If anybody else other than the Kims take over, it's still going to be a socialist dictatorship. So once again, you're unequivocally wrong and just sitting here avoiding fact because it doesn't suit your purpose.
Wait, hold on. So you agree that that North Korea is a monarchy, right?
No, it is a socialist dictatorship.
No, it's been ruled by one single family that controls everything.
Once again, it is ruled by one party,
one family,
whose family is the head of that party.
Okay.
I don't know how many more ways you want me to say this.
Can you tell me the difference between like?
What's the difference between? Yeah, if I may. So first of all, $5 from Aircraft Sparky to say Ellen identifies as correct. Checkmate gives. Love you, bro. Wick, you rock. Where you won the spaz? I don't know what the last part means, but thank you for the $5. 10th super chat on the stream. Look at you go. I think that there is more to a monarchy than simply having been ruled by a single family for a while. That's just my guess. I don't have the definition up personally, but I would think that you could have many forms of rule which the family, one single family happens to be in power for a while.
Well, here's the best part of what it is he's sitting here, he's talking about Marx and tankies, but he doesn't even know what he's talking about because North Korea would fall under the title of the dictatorship of the proletariat, which is a transitionary state according to Marx. So he's sitting there using all these big fancy words that he doesn't even know what the fuck they mean.
What words do I not know?
Apparently, you don't know what proletariat means. Apparently, you don't know.
Proletariat
Means
someone that needs to sell their labor to live. Boom.
Apparently, you don't know what communism means. You don't know what socialism means. You just avoided the keywords in the definition, and now you're.
You
just
don't know what Ozempic means.
I mean, that's not, once again, not a duck. Cool, I'm fat. You got me. Wow, good one. Cool. You know what? You know what? I also starred in that movie Austin Powers, and I was Fat Bastard. You know what you starred in? Absolutely nothing. Bupkis, 0. The only thing you starred in is failing grades in school. That's what you started.
Actually, I passed all my classes.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it because it doesn't seem like you understand fucking English, which is the language we're speaking right now. So once again, explain to me how tankies aren't to the left.
Sorry, I was looking at something more important. Tankies are not to the left because they don't advocate for the left wing in terms of like why they're not Marxist. Let's start there, and then why they're not left wing. Okay.
Complete sentence. Start with a complete sentence. That might be a good start.
I did. That was a complete sentence. You fucking idiot. What are you talking about?
It was just word salad. You literally just had word salad.
You hate word salad. I get it because it's like a healthy meal. But like, okay, put back into this. This distinction between what makes them not Marxist, and then we can go into what makes them not on the left. Are you ready?
Let's go into what makes them Marxist. I got to hear this.
Okay. What makes them not Marxist is that they advocate against the destruction of the two-tiered class system. Right? Okay. So they do not advocate for the abolition of the bourgeoisie. They just create a new bourgeoisie called the vanguard over the proletariat. Correct?
So far, you're just explaining why they're authoritative left, but sure, go ahead.
But that they are definitionally not Marxist at that point, right?
No, that is not what that means.
Wait, so they're still Marxists even though they advocate for a.
Let me ask you this. All right, let me just I'll try to engage with this in good faith, but it seems like it's a lost cause. What do you think the end state of a communist or socialist country would be in a utopia? How many parties are there going to be? There would be. Well, clearly, because you don't know. I'll tell you, there will be one party because everybody's equal and everybody's getting their fair share underneath the communist and socialist state. So even by their own definition,
I'm actually not reading the original logos.
Even by your own definition, they would still be one party. They'd have one state, one party. Everybody's equal under communism. By your own definition. Once again, explain how they're not left.
How can you have a state and there not be and there be one class?
They're not libertarians, Papa. Let's just go with that.
Okay, how can there be a state and would every person be part of the state? Like, would every person be a state bureaucrat?
No, it wouldn't be a bureaucrat.
Yes, actually, everyone's a member of the party.
They would all be everybody would be. Yeah.
Everyone would be a member of the state.
That doesn't already exist. That already doesn't exist. Like, there's people in China right now that are not members of the CCP.
Well, he's talking about the end state, the utopian end goal.
So, in the end goal, the end goal of a classless, stateless, moneyless society is to have a state.
Yeah, that would be a form of a state. Yeah,
communist. But how would it be stateless then?
It wouldn't. That would be a state. They're not libertarians. Libertarians are the ones who want no state and it's a self-state.
No, even like Marx and Engels wrote very specifically about the destruction of the state.
Yeah, the state as the state as we know it. It's still a form of government. It's a state. Like communism's end goal is everybody is one thing. You all are assigned a value, and you're all assigned whatever job based on your value and your skills, and you're all equal under the one system. It has a system of government that issues everybody's job.
What would be doing this if there was no state?
What?
What would be doing this if there was no state?
Well, there would be a state. That's how they're assigned their jobs under
communism.
That's literally the definition of communism.
No, the definition of communism is stateless, moneyless, classless society.
No, it is not.
I'm pulling it up right now.
Okay.
Here, I got the Wikipedia right here.
Once again, let's read.
I'm going to put it right here.
Let's read the Oxford language. No, we're gonna stick to the Oxford. Hold on, no. We're gonna start with. Let's start with. Go ahead.
One at a time. Read your Wikipedia. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. Reading the Wikipedia, in Marxist thought, a communist society or the communist system is the type of society and economic system postulated to emerge from technological advances in the productive forces, representing the ultimate goal of the political ideology of communism. A communist society is characterized by common ownerships of the means of production with free access to the articles of consumption and is classless, stateless, and moneyless, implying the end of the exploitation of labor.
Okay. All right. Let's just read the next paragraph of that own thing. It's and the state or nation state, a communist state. Okay, communists seek a voluntary state, voluntary state of self-governance. Right? That's literally the next sentence that you're omitting. But let's go back to the definition you gave beginning. So we're going to use your own definition.
Wait.
Hold on, no. I let you talk.
Why would you use the capitalist Oxford definition?
Oh, well,
as opposed to The communist Wikipedia definition? What are we doing?
Well, I was
hold
picking the one you gave
Hold on.
us. This
Who
is the one
funds
you gave
Wikipedia?
us.
Who funds Wikipedia? Who funds Wikipedia?
Dark money.
Yeah, I mean, but you're saying why would we use Oxford? You're the one who used Oxford.
Yeah,
so I'm just using.
I was
you were
using
trying to school
worst
Wick.
thing to prove the point.
Well, I'm proving that you're an idiot right now.
Definition, it still works.
No, it doesn't. So let's go back to your own definition that you gave at the beginch. This is how debate works.
Wait, hold on. No, why don't we use this? Why don't we use the actual definition?
No. This is how debate works. Let me explain it.
Wait, you want to own me?
Hold on.
Because you gave. Okay.
Ellen, do you want to change your definition that you originally gave?
Yes. Here, let's change the definition. A communist society is characterized by common ownership of the means of production with free access to the articles of consumption and is classless, stateless, and moneyless, implying the end of the exploitation of labor.
Well, fine. We can use Wikipedia, but we have to use all of Wikipedia. Then I'm willing to go with that. Let's use the whole Wikipedia article because it's that literally, as I said, the next sentence is a voluntary state or self-governance. Therefore, it's still a state.
No,
secondly, you're only talking. Hold on.
The next sentence does not say that. You're lying. You're lying.
I'm not lying. I mean, I can pull it up here. I'll post it.
Do I have to pull it up? Hold on. Where are you guys? What paragraph?
I'm on literally the second paragraph on communism. If you look up communism, he read his communism.
Communists often seek a voluntary state of self-governance but disagree on the means to this end.
Exactly word for word what I just read. But hold on. Before you go any further, I want to go down to the next paragraph that says variants of communism.
Wait, hold on, Ellen. You were not on this article?
I'm on communist society, right?
I'm looking at the Wikipedia definition for communism.
Right here. I put it in YouTube chat. I'll put it in Twitch chat.
Okay, links don't come up in YouTube chat, okay?
Sorry.
Communist society. Why are we looking at communist society? We're talking about communism.
Wait, what?
The whole debate.
We're asking about the end state.
Well, I'll tell you why we're doing this, Wick, is because this is what you call a moving goalpost. People that like to play definition debate, once they get schooled on their own definitions, like to move the goalpost. I mean,
you have to move more, right?
I mean, once again, out of the two of us, I'm the only one who's played college sports. Well, the only thing you've done is sat on a chair and forgot how to read. So don't be coming at me cattywampus whenever you're over here not even able to speak.
Can you define cattywampus?
I mean, I will. It's what you're doing right now. It's stupidity. How's that?
Wait, that's actually not what cattywampus means.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter what it means because you're sitting here coming all jackass.
Gang, hold on, gang. The first person to give me $100 gets to choose who wins on this. Okay, just FYI. But go ahead. Continue.
I think it's pretty clear who wins when we have moving goalpost Sally over here, who can't even stick to one definition and wants to start using communist society when we've been talking about communism.
I'm sorry that you guys can't click links.
We can click links. It's just, again, you have to. Again, we got to go back to the original point because we've gone all over the place. The original point is we're arguing about what we're debating, what we're actually having a discussion about is are the tankies on the left? And you say no.
No.
And I say that they definitionally are. They say they're on the left. One, they self-identify as leftists. Two.
Wait, hold on. Do you think North Korea is are socialist?
I don't know if they're socialists, but they're like.
Are they communists?
I'm talking about tankies.
Okay, tankies will support North Korea.
I'm talking about people like Hassan. Hassan is a leftist, yes?
Yeah, Hassan is nominally a leftist, yes.
He's a leftist. He supports North Korea. He supports China.
Wait, does he?
He supports Russia.
North Korea is a left-wing dictatorship. Just like a military junta would be a right-wing dictatorship.
Hold on, Hassan, North Korea. I'm just like seeing here.
Regardless of that, we all know that Vladimir Lenin, Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, the Castros, those are all leftist dictators, right?
I would consider Pol Pot left wing now.
Okay, well then we could. You know what? I'll even grant you Pol Pot's not left. I think he is. I don't really give a shit. It's not really important. But if we talk Vladimir Lenin, Stalin, Mao Zedong, the Castros, those are all left-wing leaders. Well, Stalin's definitely left-leaning. I hate to break it to you.
Hold on, how?
He literally has a form of communism named after him. It's called Stalinism.
Oh, you mean that state enforced ideology that that is completely nonsensical?
You don't have to make sense to be on the left or the right. To be clear, you don't have to have a sensical.
No, it had nothing to do.
You just don't.
No, Marxist Leninism I would describe as more close to fascism than any other thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, then I guess Hitler was a fucking socialist, like I've been saying for years. Thank you so much. We found common ground. Hitler is leftist, just like you said. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And he would be somebody. And he would be somebody. No. You can't.
I think Hitler and Stalin are both right wing.
No, you can't sit here and say fascism is closer.
Hold on.
To
let me ask Ellen.
Ellen.
Ellen, may I ask you? Can you give me an example of a left-wing leader who was bad? Someone you consider left-wing, but who was a bad leader, a bad person. Who's a leader who ran a movement, an organization, a country, whatever. They're left-wing, but they're a bad guy or girl. Lenin. So Marxist-Leninists, which is what a tanky is.
Well, when did Marxist-Leninism start being pushed?
I don't know off the top of my head.
15 years after he died by Stalin. It's literally just it's a way of activating nostalgia in people and giving himself false legitimacy.
And he did it from the left.
Mao, I think, is somewhat left wing. I think he's more of a guerrilla fighter than whatever. I consider that a bad one there. And then Deng was more
Mao Zedong, who again established the communist People's Republic of China.
I consider him left wing. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
And so also bad.
China's communist. China's left wing.
No, the reason the Sino-Soviet split happened was because China thought that the USSR was being revisionist.
Well, lefties infight all the time. This just proves my point, right? They're both left wing.
It's about having the ability to destroy classes and then not. Why do you think after the fall of the Soviet Union, all these huge party leaders all of a sudden became oligarchs?
What naturally happens in voids. They get filled. After you kill a bunch of leaders.
Or their job really didn't change that fucking much, except the title.
Just the level of delusion and mental backflips that you're doing is honestly, it's impressive. You should go out for the Olympics for mental gymnastics, because this is impressive.
It's because I can do more backflips than you in real life too.
Man, it sounds like
none of us are doing backflips.
I could actually do a backflip.
Yeah, I believe you. It's very relevant to this conversation. The point that I'm making here is that Stalin literally is one of the most influential communists of all times. He's literally a one of the closest we get to pure communism. He creates an industrialized state with this purpose.
Communism is when the government does things. The more things the government does, the communister it is.
I thought I was ready for this level of delusion, but I'm not. It's just
I'm the deluded one here. Yeah,
I would say yes, you are the deluded one, because once again, we've already established we wanted to play definition debate. We schooled you on definitions. Then you moved the goalpost to a whole different word.
You won so much. You got to tell me, right?
Well, I'm trying to help you see where you're wrong. I'm trying to save your soul.
Where am I wrong?
Let Dr. Gibbs bring you back to Christ, my son. I'm trying to help you learn. Learn something here, because that's really the point of these, is learning from our mistakes. And that's what we're doing, is you're making mistakes on a wholesale scale in regards to political theory. When you're saying things like tankies are right wing, when they're just because you're authoritarian doesn't mean you're right wing or left wing. You can be a military junta and be right wing. You can be a left wing dictatorship
did you think it was based
and be authoritarian.
Did you think it was based when Stalin recriminalized homosexuality?
I think it was based when Stalin recriminalized homosexuality. No, I wasn't alive in the 50s.
Okay.
So I didn't think anything was great.
I think the Holocaust was
I'm
bad, even though I wasn't alive. So like,
I'm also not a communist. I'm definitely a
Okay,
conservative
stunning and
right-winger.
brave that you came out against the Holocaust. Can we give him a hand, gang? Can we give him a slow clap for being against the Holocaust? Stunning and brave. How could you say
I'm just
so
not sure.
controversial?
I'm just not sure if Admiral Gibbs is against it.
Well, I'm definitely against it. I mean, I'm surprised that you're against it the way you're
Wait,
sitting here
hold on.
advocating for a Hamas terrorist earlier.
Wait, I don't advocate for a Hamas terrorist. I hate Hamas. I think Hamas is dumb.
But you were crying about you were saying they were justified for using human shields and children at that.
I didn't say they were justified for.
Do you have? Oh, sure, that's what you were implying.
Hold on. Hey, wait. If a school shooter takes over like a school and they have like a bunch of children like that they have as hostages, do you just blow up the school?
Or do you sit back like 𝕵𝖎𝖎 cops do and let them kill a bunch of fucking people over and over again?
Wait,
Which do you do? Do you do nothing? Or do you go in even though you might hit someone?
It depends.
No, you know what the answer is, Wick?
How many
do like
people are going to die?
The off-duty Border Patrol agent did. Shoot the shooter. That's what you do. That's what like they did. That's what you do. You go in there and you get the job taken care of, and it sucks.
And how effective have they been in doing that?
I would say pretty effective. It's so effective that people are weeping and gnashing their teeth, and I'm getting here my world's smallest violin out again to cry for all the people sitting here crying about Israel and taking care of business and killing terrorists.
Killing children.
Well, yeah, I mean, whatever you have to kill the terrorists, and they're
you gotta
using
kill, you gotta kill all the women and children. You know.
I mean, you didn't have a problem with it when they were going over there raping women to death, but
whoa! Do I want my channel monetized ever? Right?
I actually did. I've condemned Hamas. Okay, I've condemned Hamas.
Hamas, yeah.
Okay. In pursuit of knowledge.
Hold on. Do you
how much to
the
pull
IDF?
Ellen off the call? The first person to give me $100 gets to choose who lives, who dies. Okay, $100. That's the price. But continue.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. This is just outright denial of truth and fact, and this is when people talk about revisionist history. That's what you're doing. You're literally doing revisionist history because you don't like the idea that left-wing people can be authoritative and evil. And that's exactly what's happening.
I just said Mao Zedong was left-wing, and I think he's authoritative and evil.
How is Mao any different than with the Great Leap Forward than any of Stalin's program?
Because he was actually attempting to do it, even though I think in doing it in a bad way, whereas Stalin was never interested in actually realizing the goal. Mao Zedong was way more of an ideologue. Stalin was just like a power-hungry guy that wanted power. Lenin and even said, do not let this guy take power after I die.
So again, to bring it back to the original point, you can say that tankies are deluded. I would agree with you. You could say that tankies are going about it the wrong way. I would agree with you, right? But they absolutely want communism. They absolutely do.
Wait, hold on. How can you say you want communism if you don't want to destroy the class distinction?
Because they have a different definition of communism than you do. You seem to have a proprietary definition.
You cannot have a definition of communism that includes the class distinction. That's completely anti-Marxist.
Well, but your definition of a class distinction is the fact that they have a state.
Which is ironic because even in your own definition they have a state. But on top of that, the thing is they're talking about a one-party system is one thing the tankies are advocating, which is the epitome of communism. So how are they not leftist in that regard?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
So you're sitting here saying that one, the state thing, which is idiotic, but two, they are advocating for one party, one authoritative party, which by any communistic definition is the end goal is to have one party where everybody's under one rule and where they're all assigned a job or have a role under a society. That is a definition of a state and a party. So I don't understand.
That would be state capitalist.
No, it would not be state
capitalist. Wait, how would it not be state capitalist?
Well, because they don't have a capitalist society under communism. Now, would they?
Wait, hold on.
If you are assigned a role and it's a cashless society and you have one government that assigns everybody roles and everybody's one bureaucrat or a farmer or a scientist assigned to whatever their skill set is, and they go through the life and they have all their like utilities and it's all run by one society and one government and one state and one party, that's communism, right?
Wait, that would actually be feudalism.
Okay. $2 from the Justice 35 to say, I can't give 100, but I can call Ellen an idiot. Thank you for the $2.
What great left-wing audience you're cultivating here, Wick.
I mean,
do you think that they can't call you an idiot if they're you can't be left-wing and call you an idiot?
I just think I'm saying very like obvious Marxist things, and like
If you were saying something that you think is obvious, but no one here agrees with what you're saying, maybe at least it's not obvious. Correct?
No, honestly, I would be more negatively polarized if your audience did agree with me.
My audience doesn't agree with me half the time.
I like this is just this is like when people like I don't know. It's just outright denialism is what this is. It's just denialism, and I don't even have the words to describe this just illusion that is occurring.
Okay.
Like,
I think this is amazing, though. I think this is amazing. Again, the whole reason we're talking at all is because I made a tweet, right, which you took issue with because you say that you shouldn't let how people view you or treat you change your opinions on things. And then you come out here with, if your chat agreed with me, I would like change my mind or be doing a bad job or things like that. Again, the whole point of this discussion, during this discussion, several times have just ceded the proposition, right?
I need to ask Gibbs a question. Do you think capitalism and market are the same thing?
No.
Gibbs, do you think that's the same thing?
What is the question? Capitalism and free market?
Do you think capitalism and markets are the same thing?
No, they're not the same thing. Markets, you have markets under capitalism.
Okay. Would you have a market under socialism?
You could. You don't have
in theory, you probably wouldn't. I mean, I guess you could.
How would that happen under socialism?
I mean, it wouldn't be the purest form of a socialist utopia. I mean, you know what? Actually, I will take that. It could be even under the purest form of socialism. It just wouldn't be the market as how we define it under the capitalist system. Say I went down, it would be more of like a title. I go down to the local Walmart, except it wouldn't be Walmart. It would be like the farmer's market. And you go down there and you just, I need XYZ. And you go, okay, here are your freedom credits or whatever. And you get your like whatever daily allotted thing from the market. So yeah, technically, I guess you could have a market or your daily allotment, but it wouldn't be the classified like style of market like that we have today. If you want me to bite the bullet on that, but like so I guess you could, but I mean like
or like in a libertarian socialist model where the bourgeoisie is taken out because everybody is a part owner of their own business that they work at.
In a libertarian socialist model.
Yeah.
You don't think those are pretty inherently opposed to each other generally? Libertarianism?
No, actually, libertarianism was originally a left-leaning concept.
I think I just had a brain aneurysm.
No, hold on. So, like, say that that there was enough working class consciousness where all the workers decided that I'm not going to work in a place where I can't vote for my boss. Right? Are you
talking about classical liberalism? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking about libertarian socialism or anarcho-syndicalism.
So let me help you out, Gibbs. You can have authoritarian leftism or you can have libertarian leftism. You can have authoritarian right wing and you can have libertarian right wing. So it's not inherently contradictory to imagine a system that is libertarian and socialist.
I
don't
understand that.
yeah.
I'm just the problem I'm having, Wick, is not with that concept, which sure is the mismatch, mixed podge, hodgepodge of things that he's trying to string together into some coherent line of reasoning that is his singular definition of socialism and communism that no one else in the world adheres to. And if you don't adhere to this definition, then you're not a leftist, or you're not a conservative, or you're not an educated individual. That's the problem I'm having. It's some bullshit. Like I pulled some. You know, this reminds me of. I have a friend named Czar Warrior. He used to be a streamer. I don't think he does anymore. And he would take bits and pieces from every conspiracy theory and combine them into one. And then when you challenged him on, oh, the lizard people aren't real, he would say that, oh, you're an idiot because the frog people are telling you to tell something like that. That's what's happening here. He's taking all these little different like ideas from each thing and combining it in his own hodgepodge and saying, oh, this is leftist, this is rightist, or whatever. Whenever it has no basis in reality. I mean, the Easter Bunny is more realistic than any of the theories that he's come up with and presented to us thus far.
Wait, it's unrealistic for co-ops to exist?
Okay, co-ops absolutely exist.
Okay, so imagine if the working class got conscious enough to the point they decided that they would only do business with and work for co-ops.
You know, imagine if I could tie my dick into a water balloon and like float off to Mars.
I think we both know it's not that big.
We could talk about things that aren't going to ever happen, or we could
wait,
talk about reality.
Why won't that
happen?
Why wouldn't that? Why is that impossible?
Because we're talking about things that have happened and are happening and are realistic. You're sitting here talking about what ifs and fairy dust and pixie dust. That's
I feel like if we went back like 3,000 years, you would be the guy in like Athens. It's like, what do you mean, people voting? Like, I feel like that's never been done before.
I feel like you're a more R-worded Fabian Liberty that's stuck on left-wing bullshit definitions. If we had to decide what you are, and that's modern terms. We don't have to go 3,000 years ago.
I'm sorry, you're over here saying that like Hitler was left-wing. I think I won the second you said that.
First of all,
you know what? I think we've all lost tonight.
I agree.
I think I've lost. I think you've lost. I think my audience has lost.
I agree, Wick.
Can you guys give us some closing statements so I can never have to hear you again?
Wait, we're not going to talk again, Wick?
I'm being facetious. I'm obviously going to have you both on again at some point.
All right.
I'm
peace, love, and hair grease. Admiral Gibbs, keep eating the way you do so I don't have to see you again. All right, thank you.
Gibbs?
That was good. Yeah, I got one here. Listen here, we're gonna do a toast. I think that's really the only way that we can get past what has happened. And I'm gonna move the goalpost to something else with my toast. And it's gonna be real simple. It's gonna be, listen, I love short women. I love tall women. I love wide women. I love skinny women. All I know is I love all women. Cheers to you and me. Thanks for having me.
Wait, even trans women? You like trans women?
You know what? Sure, why not? Whatever. What is a woman?
Well, on that note, I'm going to kick you both out.
Gender abolitionist Admiral Gibbs.
My God, gang. My God. I thought today was going to be like a simple, nice discussion. Me and Ellen, we're going to have a back and forth. It's going to be great, and we're going to just be done. But no. We went all over. I think I want to reiterate, now that I don't have 1,000 distractions, a few things before we go. We will right into Gibbs after this, but let me wrap things up, okay? Let me wrap things up. The left, which I consider myself a part of, right, needs to excise its extremists. We have done ourselves no favors by letting them run the asylum, right? We have done ourselves no favors by refusing to stand up against crazy. We have to be willing to call out crazy, especially on our side. We cannot let the extremists win. We have to be better. We have to be better. That's the only way people will ever trust us. And we need them to trust us. We need to be worthy of their trust. And part of being worthy of their trust, worthy of governance, is being willing to say no to the loudest voices, the craziest voices, right? Even though you might take a hit, even though you might take an optical hit, even though it might look bad, even though you might be giving ammo to the other side or whatever the fuck, you have to, if someone is wrong and doing something that is wrong, whether you don't check if they have an R or a D next to their name, just call them out. Just call them out on it, okay? People, tankies are left-wing. Okay, this is another problem we have, is we have defined left-wing as good and right-wing as bad, and it's doing us no favors. You can have good people who are right-wing, and you can have bad people who are left-wing. You can have good ideas that are right-wing, and you can have bad ideas that are left-wing, and vice versa, okay? No one worldview has a monopoly on being correct. What we need to do is work together, because that's the only way we're going to get through this. And gang, we need to work together, and I want to work together, right? Again, we don't have to agree on everything, but there are certain things that we should all want and we should all work towards, and I hope we can. Gang, thank you for being here. Gang, thank you for the love today, the donations. I really appreciate it. This week's going to be slow. Like I said, we have a show tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Tuna Chip on. He's going to tell us about his experiences with therapy. Should be a fun discussion. I'm trying to set something up for Friday. We'll see if I can, but that is the goal. The goal is to also have a Friday show. That should be fun. Next week, we're going to go back to the full schedule, gang. We're going to go back to having a ton of shows each week. I'm putting myself back together, okay? We're putting myself back together. We're getting things done. Thank you again. Any last donations? You guys want to say? You guys want to throw me some money to end the show? You want to throw me some? We can end on a bang. We can give me $10. Throw me a few gift subs. These things, it really helps. Again, because again, I'm doing less these past 2 weeks, so I'm going to make less money. But you can help offset that with extra donations, and that would help. It really would. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. Let's raid out into Admiral Gibbs. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you again. I love you all. Peace, love, justice. That's what we're going to go with. See ya.